Hey everyone, Paul Ward here, and welcome to another edition of Farm Talk. I'm so excited today. We have Doug O'Hara with Sierra Pacific. Doug, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, Doug, what is Sierra Pacific?
Sierra Pacific is a grove management company. We primarily specialize in avocado and citrus. We own, lease, manage ranches for individuals that buy a piece of property and just don't know how to farm, don't want to farm, or want to learn how to farm.
You're formerly known as Soma Pacific, correct?
Correct. Soma Pacific started about 40 years ago, owned by Sam McIntyre. Sam McIntyre retired about 15 years ago, and his son, who had a grove management company called Sierra Pacific in Riverside County, bought Sam's company, and then he merged it as one. So now we're formerly known as Sierra Pacific Farms.
Okay, and we're headquartered here in Moore Park, California?
Correct. Yes.
Outside of the city limits.
Outside of the city limits in the country.
Okay. And how many acres do you guys manage?
We manage around 2,500 acres, avocados and lemons.
Okay. So, and any other crops or primarily?
Primarily avocados and lemons. We've done some mandarins. We used to do some grapes in Malibu.
Okay.
But we decided to say we want to stay a little bit local, so we decided to stick with just avocados and lemons. Not that we're opposed to doing anything. It's just that primarily in this county, that's what we do.
If I'm new to farming and I want to, let's say I want to buy an orchard, I want to become an avocado farmer. How would you guys step in? What would your role be?
I would come out and meet with you, walk the grove, look at it, give you an estimate of what I think production-wise, cost to farm, answer any questions. I've been in the business almost 30 years now. So if you're a starting farmer or a more advanced farmer, I can help you with any questions. I can give you budgets, do long-term projections of profit and income or profit and loss.
Okay.
And basically farming costs.
If I saw even a piece of dirt that I liked, could that
Yes.
potentially be farmed?
Absolutely. I know this area pretty well. So any piece of property around here, I can get any kind of background on it and give you cost of, we do total developments, we do redevelopments, we take over farms that are in perfect condition. So anything from a bare piece of land to the most gorgeous property in Ventura County, we can help you with.
Okay. How'd you get into this?
I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. It's a funny story. When I first started in Cal Poly San Luis, I was actually a computer science major. I couldn't get into computer science, so they allowed me to get into soil science. So I figured, well, I'll go to soil science, and then in a year or two, I'll sneak out of soil science and go to computer science. Didn't work out too well. So the first soil science class I took was with a very nice, good professor, and basically I was hooked after that, and I decided to stick with agriculture. After I graduated, I did an internship with a local company called Fruit Growers Lab for a while, and also another lab down in San Diego County, and just enjoyed it. So that was 30 years ago. So.
Wow. What size orchards do you manage?
I have many different sizes. I have a grove as low as 1 acre up to 1,000 acres. My largest grove is 1,000 acres in Somas.
Oh, wow.
And my smallest grove is probably 1 acre in Santa Rosa Valley.
Okay.
And the question I always get from everybody, from the smaller groves especially, is, do you treat, I'm only 1 acre, and that guy's 20 acres, and I know they're more important. No, everybody's important to me. 1 acre, 2 acres, 5 acres, 1,000 acres, we all treat you the same. Everybody has different needs, everybody has different wants, and everybody wants to spend different amount of money, and they have different budgets. But as a farm, all farms are treated the same.
And how do you take care of 1 acre? I'm just curious. That's interesting.
Same as I treat 1,000 acres.
It's just the guy goes there and turns the water on,
fertilizes, prunes, does the weeds. Obviously, with 1,000 acres, it takes a couple more guys than one. So, 1,000 acres is pretty much a full-time job for a crew.
Right.
We have an irrigator that will go to the smaller groves that just travels all day long, does all the work, and then for larger groves, we just have a whole crew go in and do everything. So, but as far as the way I farm, it's exactly the same. It's if I put a pound of fertilizer on the 1 acre grove, I'm putting a pound of fertilizer on the 1,000 acre grove. So we treat it the same, just a smaller scale.
Gotcha. What if an orchard is a sad orchard? I mean, you kind of see it and it's just kind of in disrepair. How would you handle that?
We have to look at and evaluate the cost benefit. Is it a benefit to add money to it to revamp it, or is it just worth it to take it all down and start over?
Okay.
And that's what I would do. I would look through it and evaluate it to see, what's the best option. We give you all the options. If you want to revamp something because you don't want to tear out a grove, we can do that. But it would just have to be on a base by base, property by property basis.
Is there a way to project income on these properties? I know if you buy a strip center or a, grocery store, you know the projected rents, but is there a way to predict or project income on farming?
The only thing we can do is we can go on past history. The avocado market is very, it fluctuates quite a bit. It's not just fruit from the United States anymore. There's a lot of foreign influences from other countries where fruit comes in, and it really, the price fluctuates. So all I can do is go by historical and by my own experience. Same with lemons. Lemons are a hard one to really nail down.
Right.
So we just use the kind of an average over the years and think of the future. Anything can happen in farming,
right?
But we try to do the best we can and be very conservative with our numbers.
Now, I've always thought or heard that avocados were kind of the high risk, high reward, and lemons were kind of like the safe stock. Is that true?
Somewhat true. Avocados produce one crop a year. So if you have a wind event, a freeze event, and you lose your crop or most of your crop, you have nothing for the year, and you still have to pay to support the trees, fertilizer, water, all the care.
Right.
Lemons have more of 3 to 4 crops per year. So if you have a freeze event, a wind event, a problem, you may lose 1 or 2 crops, but you still have a couple crops. If you have a major frost event, lemon trees will recover faster. Avocado trees, if you have a major frost event, it may be 2-3 years before they recover. So, but as you said, avocados, the return on them can be very high. Lemons are more of a stable return. Avocados are obviously more of I would say, an exotic fruit, where lemons are, people put them in their drinks and lemonade and things like that.
Right.
So,
and I heard that lemons got hit really hard by COVID because restaurants had shut down, but now they're making a comeback. Is that
right? Well, the restaurants shut down, it really hit them. But the good thing was everybody wanted vitamin C, and lemons have vitamin C. So in the store, the single lemons, obviously the restaurants shut down, so nothing in the restaurants.
Right.
But of course, people in the store didn't really want people touching lemons. So what we did is they started bagging lemons, which they've done it all the time, but they really amped up the bagging. So it's a bag full of lemons. So people would take it. They don't have to touch the lemon, and it's the good vitamins. So it started out very, very, very bad. But by the end of the year, when everybody started wanting to eat healthier and get the vitamins, the lemon market popped up. Now with COVID semi-over, it's starting to get better. It's not back to where it was.
Right.
But, not everything's open. Not all states are open, but it's getting better. Right. Avocados never missed a beat. Well, I would say before COVID, they were very high. We were very good. And then once COVID hit, they dropped. But they leveled off. They didn't really drop off because people like avocados, healthy fat, vitamins, minerals, all that stuff. So it affected it, obviously, for the food service. But more people in the store, more people buying avocados. So.
Right. And how do we stay locally? How do we stay competitive with Mexico and Peru and Chile growing so much fruit now?
It's tough. Obviously their costs are quite a bit less. Mexico, majority of Mexico doesn't even water. They use natural rainfall for water. So obviously here in Ventura County, water is an issue. If you have a well's a much cheaper water. If you have district water from the city, it's much more expensive. I think the best way is to treat the grove the way you need to treat it. You just because water is expensive, you don't stop watering. You have to give the tree what it needs, the water it needs, the fertilizer it needs, the care it needs. It may hurt sometimes if you don't have a crop, but in the end, you'll have a healthier grove that produces. You have to keep your production up.
So if I want to buy an orchard and I know nothing in the beginning, but over time I learn a little bit, is there a way that a new orchard owner could get more involved at some point?
Absolutely. I always say to the owners, it's your grove. You can be as involved as you want, or you can just walk away and let me do everything.
Okay.
I've got growers I talk to once a year. I've got growers I talk to once a week. So we are more than happy to teach you and help you learn. There's so many ways to get involved. You can get on the California Avocado Commission website. They have a lot of information for new growers there. The Ventura County Farm Bureau, they have tons of information, and they can use me as an information source.
Okay.
So yes, I I can do everything from start to finish, but as much as you want to be involved is great for me.
Okay. And then some folks just want no risk at all. I mean, is there a way that you might just take over completely and kind of have a co-op agreement with the
Yeah, we do things
owner?
called a lease. Well, basically, we take on all expenses and we farm everything, and then at the end of the year, we'll split profit with them.
Okay.
That's for a grower that just wants to own the property, doesn't want to have the monthly expense, doesn't want to have to worry about the risk and worry about what they're going to make and what they're going to spend. So yes,
Right.
we'll take care of all the expenses, and we'll somehow either we'll pay a monthly fee or we'll do at the end. We'll just split the profits.
So they'll live out in the country and enjoy the lifestyle, but not have to worry about the risks of.
Exactly. Not have to worry about the risk of being a farmer.
Who does the harvesting?
I contract the harvesting out. There's many local companies out here will do the harvesting. So we hire them out and then they harvest and they're paid through your proceeds.
Okay.
So you don't have to pay them directly. And I handle that all myself, and it's all fully insured, and they're very, very good workers around here. A lot of harvesting companies around here.
Sustainable farming, I know it's a kind of a term that gets thrown around. How is Sierra Pacific involved in that?
Sustainable farming is becoming a very popular way of farming. We have some grows we do, some organic grows we do. Obviously, we all know that the cost to be sustainable organic is much higher, but it's much safer for the environment. Materials that we use obviously have to be all certified, organic, and a little more expensive. But I always tell people if you want to do it for the environment, if you want to do it because you feel you want a safer environment, safer for the soil, safer for the water, great. But if you're doing it for money, that's not the way you want to do it.
Who's on your team? And it's not you. And how many people are out there working?
Well, I have me. I'm the president of the company. I have Hayden McIntyre, who is the owner's son, Allison Carmichael, who works with the GAPS and works on all the groves as well.
What's GAPS?
GAPS, good agriculture practices.
Okay.
That's every grove has got to have a certification, and that's basically safety for workers, safety for the fruit, making sure that the harvesting is done correctly, where it's coming off the grove without pesticides on it, without any kind of contaminants on it, and every packer requires you having a GAP certification.
Okay.
It's a process. It's you have to come out and get inspected once a year. You have to do certain things. You have a list of things to do, and it's just good for the environment. It's close to being organic, but it's not 100% organic. But it's a very good thing for each grove to have.
Gotcha.
And then the employees in the field. I have anywhere from 50 to 500 at times, depending
wow.
how busy we are. So a lot of employees do all the work.
A lot of workers.
A lot of work.
A lot of workers. Were there any properties that you saw that maybe thought, man, I'm not sure how I'm going to turn this property around, but the owner was just adamant about making it right, and you were able to step in and make it work? I
think one of my favorite things to do is to take a piece of property and start over and do it from scratch. I've done that. I've had a couple properties at Fillmore in Piru area, old orange groves that were 50, 60, 70 years old, organic, that just weren't looking good. And the owners wanted to redevelop them completely. One we redeveloped into a avocado grove, and the other one a lemon grove. And basically tore out all the trees, new irrigation, and we're talking each grove was 300 acres plus.
Oh, wow.
So it's always nice for me to see that it's like a blank slate, a blank piece of paper or a blank canvas,
right?
That I get to design it, and I get to say where the pipes go and how we're going to irrigate it and where the valves go. And there was another one that was it went from an elevation of 700 feet up to 2,000 feet.
Oh, wow.
So pumping water from 700 feet to 2,000 feet and pumping the amount of water we needed. It was a 600 acre grove. I mean, it's a lot of pumps, a lot of special valves. That was quite a challenge, but when it's all said and done, it's producing. It's a beautiful grove. It just makes you feel like you created something. So it was a lot of fun.
Very cool. How would somebody get in touch with you, Doug, if they want to have you manage their farm or are considering buying a farm that would need management?
You can contact me on my email, which is dohara@spfarms.com. dohara@spfarms.com. Our phone number is 805-523-7200.
What are the big issues right now that you're seeing out there?
Big issues are cost of labor, cost of water. Luckily in Ventura County, where a majority of our properties are on wells, and there's a lot of water under the ground. We just have to be better stewards of it and use water when we need to and use the amount we need to. But I would say probably farming in many counties, I would say Ventura County right now is probably the best county to farm in because of water, environment, weather. It's becoming very popular, as you would know, as being a real estate agent. People are flocking here. San Diego County, Riverside County, they're having more water issues than that. They don't have well situations. Most of them don't, so they're flocking here. But we as farmers, we deal with it. You know, we're not going anywhere. I know many farmers that aren't shutting down the business and they're not running from the county and giving up. If anything, we're trying harder, and what we do is get more efficient. And that's one thing I like talking to my growers about. You need to have efficient irrigation systems. Even if you have a well, you don't want to put more water than you have to. So you want to put what you need on. And fertilizer, a lot of our fertilizers are put through the irrigation system. So you want to make sure that tree gets what that tree needs. So you don't want to leach it down into the groundwater, and that ruins the groundwater for everybody. Then we've got problems down the line. It may not happen in my lifetime or your lifetime or my children's lifetime, but we want this, we want to farm here for generations. There's, as you know, there's many farmers here that have farmed for hundreds of years, have families here that have been hundreds of years, and they're the same way. So I know some people think farmers don't care about things. It's the opposite. We want to be here for a long time. Well, I want my family to be here. I want families to be here. So, so yes, Ventura County probably is, like I said, I've been in all counties, and it's probably one of the best places to farm in the state.
Good to know. Doug O'Hara, thank you so much for being our guest on this episode of Farm Talk. We greatly appreciate it. Farm Talk is brought to you by The Money Store and the Escrow Hub. Be sure to check out our next episode of Farm Talk.